Catherine Beth, it's just you and I. Catherine Beth, thanks for making it. Can you hear me now?
Sorry, am I the only one here?
Yes, we've had very low attendance, but I am going to go on as planned because I can help you individually, and then we'll have this recording inside the classroom.
Awesome.
So it's basically going to be a one-on-one session with you, and you'll be able to ask questions as they apply to you, and hopefully they help anybody who's watching the video later.
I love it.
All right. Well, I can't see you anymore, but I'm going to just know that you're there, so I won't be able to read your facial expressions to know if I'm boring you.
I'll let you know.
Okay. So I'm going to kind of give you a review of what we covered over the last days.
Okay.
And it's essentially, I'm asking you to follow these aligned actions for the next 30 days and to post in the group how you're doing.
Okay.
And one was creating a daily success schedule. And you can watch the first video and see what that is and how to do it.
Okay.
The second is your emotion and thought inventory. Now you don't have to worry about writing all these down. They're inside the course.
Uh-huh.
Stop eating before 7. Don't start eating until after 10 a.m.
Okay.
Burn more calories than you consume each day.
Mm-hmm.
70 grams of protein. Move your muscles for 30 minutes. Sleep for 7 hours a night. And drink 7 ounces of water, or drink 100 ounces of water each day.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here is the thing. I am totally aware that all these things you've seen in the past. They are
Yes.
not new to you. And the thing is, if every person did it, you would definitely lose weight. But
Mm-hmm.
why don't we do these things?
Life happens. Don't plan ahead. I mean, there's any number of reasons.
And the simple truth is, if everybody just did these simple things, then no one would be overweight. But there's definitely some big reasons. And I think you're right. Life happens. We don't plan ahead. And that's where your success planner comes in. So these are going to be, and I definitely encourage you to watch the first video.
Okay.
Because that way it's not the same in the first and the second.
Mm-hmm.
Schedule the most important things. Schedule when you're out of the bed in the morning, when you're doing your morning ritual. Like, make a deal with yourself that you're going to do it by that time.
Okay.
Schedule, and so you're actually going to make a daily success schedule, and you're going to post it for me in the group of what time you're going to commit to doing this for the next 30 days. And don't overcommit. Don't make it so hard that you feel like you're just taking on all these new things and it's overwhelming. It's got to be things that you can do and that you choose to do, and just consistently do them for 30 days.
I call it the January 1st gym syndrome, when you get all excited and you just like go whole hog for 2 days and then you can't sustain it.
Right. So right now, all we're going to do is commit to a time that you are going to be out of bed and do your morning ritual.
Okay.
Commit to a time where you're going to be in bed with lights off.
Okay.
Commit to a time where you are going to move your muscles for 30 minutes, whether it's a walk, whether it's dancing, whether it's strength training, whether it's using your new suspension trainer. You have a lot of options. But unless you schedule it, unless any human schedules it, puts it on a calendar and commits to doing it, they will find a reason not to do it.
Right.
But here's the thing, if they're not important to you and you don't want to do it, then let's not even put it on your calendar.
Right.
But if they are, let's actually take some actions around it and put them on your calendar and do them no matter what for the next 30 days.
Okay.
Because when you do this, you're going to change your neuroplasticity and you're going to change your epigenetics. You're going to change your wiring. You're going to change your click run programs. Even especially when you don't feel like it, you don't have enough time, life's happened. When you do it anyway, you are going to change the way your brain works and the way you automatically react to things. But you have to just do it no matter what. And I will review how to do that.
And
Bedtime ritual.
go ahead.
You were going to ask a question?
I was just going to say, and it builds trust with yourself, because if I keep telling myself I'm going to do something and I don't do it, then I don't trust myself anymore.
And just saying I'm going to do it, it's just stress. It's like a to-do list rushing. And then when you don't do it, you're right, you completely betray your own inner self, your own inner soul, your own consciousness. And it's like this ongoing battle of I'm gonna do it. No. Don't even think about doing it until the time has come to do it. And then when that time comes, you simply do it.
Okay.
Now, alignment practice, I went over the video, so be sure to watch that. And
Okay.
attention, priority time, really important. So be sure to watch that video also, because that's something that will help you pay more attention to the important things and not get bogged down with the less important things.
Okay. Sounds good.
So you're going to just write this on a piece of paper, very simple, and make your daily schedule of when you're going to do these things. I mean, they will be obviously not during work times or not during other commitments you have.
Uh-huh.
And I purposely made them so they don't take a long time.
Yeah, I see that they're like 5 to 10 minutes.
Right.
The 30 minutes on moving your muscles, does that have to be at one time or can it be broken up?
If you're going to do it broken up, then definitely schedule 2 different times for 15 minutes or 10 minutes. Yes, it can be broken up. As long as you schedule it, as long as it's down on paper and in some sort of schedule that you make a deal with yourself to follow with, that's all that matters.
Okay.
Bedtime ritual, definitely review that also in the first video.
Okay.
Alignment practices are in there. And all of the stuff here is in there. So watch that first video, especially this part is I think this part is pretty awesome.
Okay.
And here's your secret weapon. All right. I'm going to give you an example of what's going to happen, okay?
Okay.
You are going to plan to do, in fact, let me ask you this. Out of all the things I showed you, right away, what do you think could be the biggest challenge out of all those things you're committing to?
Moving my muscles.
Okay, perfect. That's a great example. All right. Do you have a tentative time that you already scheduled it for?
No, that's at least part of my problem.
Okay, so number one, when you do your morning ritual, move your muscles for 15 minutes first thing in the morning.
Okay.
That's a great time to do it. So you're going to do your morning mojo. You will do your movement. You'll measure something. That way you're being accountable. And then you move for 15 minutes. And during that time, if you feel like, I don't have time, I have to go to work, that's an old program. If you feel like, it's not going to do any good anyway, I'll just wait and do it later, that's an old program. There's going to be a lot of old programs. And it's not because you have low willpower, you don't really want it. It's really because those programs have been there for so long and they've run in the background of the subconscious for so long and they're so familiar that it's the most downtrodden, easy to take pathway.
Yeah, I understand, because the path is well worn in my brain.
Right. Here's how you reverse it. These steps. Number one, remember that this is your choice, and you state out loud or write down on paper, I am choosing to, these are your new superpower words. I am choosing to move my muscles. And as you're saying the statement out loud, you literally have to say it out loud. You should write it down all over the place too. I'm choosing to move my muscles. And you actually start doing your twists, your air squats, your wall push-ups, your movement. And the only thought you allow yourself to think for that period of time is, I am choosing to move my muscles.
Okay.
You literally take action and then state the words why you're taking the action, and this will reprogram your brain.
Okay.
Very important. Does not matter how you feel. Doesn't matter if you're tired. Doesn't matter if you feel sick. Doesn't matter if you feel stretched or overwhelmed. Do it no matter how you feel. Because when you state it, and you state it as I'm choosing, and you actually do the action, the good feeling will follow. The feeling will come later.
Okay.
And the feeling of accomplishment, the feeling of following through, that will reinforce what you said for the last 15 or 30 minutes. I am choosing to.
Okay.
This is going to rewire old programs faster than anything else. And it's because you're ignoring all the opposing thoughts and opposing feelings that are familiar and memorized, and you are choosing to take the aligned action. And then as you're choosing it, this is so important, you must be like a coach, training your brain to only think, I am choosing to move my muscles. That's it. And you
Okay.
can say, I'm choosing to move my muscles because I deserve it. I'm choosing to move my muscles because I desire to be fit. But that's all you allow yourself to think. Because the way the brain works, thoughts have a huge impact on our hormones, on our level of consciousness, on our coherent energy, but only thoughts we consent to. If you don't consent to the thought, it doesn't get to stick around. So it's making the decision, I am not consenting to that thought. I don't consent. Because it's been there so long that it's automatic, it's familiar, it seems like it has to happen that way. It doesn't. I don't consent. And then right away, I am choosing to. Affirmations don't work, but saying the words while you're taking the action that aligns with what you're saying works.
Mhm.
Saying the words while feeling as if the desire you want has already happened works. But in this case, you don't have to feel good. You don't have to feel like you're doing it and like you love it or like it's great and you're exactly where you want to be. No, but you have to take the action and say the words. And you can say
Got
it in
it.
your mind. Yeah, this is shortcutting. This cognitive behavior therapy using movements that align with your desire.
Okay.
It's I would say it's biomechanical cognitive behavior therapy. Okay. Inside the course, let's go in here. Boom. Go on down. Right there. You will see the purpose alignment,
Hmm.
and that's going to give you your purpose emotions. Those are super important.
Okay. I looked through it earlier today on my lunch break.
To go through the whole thing will take you about 45 minutes.
Okay.
But your purpose emotions, they've been there for a while. And when you identify them, they will help elevate your consciousness. They will help you align your inner stance with what you desire. and it'll get everything functioning in the same direction. But you have to remember what those purpose emotions are, and this gives you step by step how to do it.
Perfect.
So treat yourself to this, because mine are to feel worthy and to feel loved. That's my primary and secondary emotions. And my purpose then is, my purpose is to feel worthy and loved for myself and my creator as I inspire others to feel the same. And your purpose will sound something like that, but you have to first identify your primary and secondary emotions. And it takes some quiet time, some writing, and really just remembering your emotions. But I definitely highly recommend it, because your emotions, when you can identify those and memorize them and keep going back to them, they will help you get through the toughest times, the toughest decisions, the toughest actions, and persevere when you feel like giving up.
Okay.
But this teaches you how to do it.
Okay.
All right. We already have the workouts in there. Boom. Day 1 videos right here.
Okay. This is the
Just
third day, right? So there is a second day somewhere, somehow.
This is day 2 right now. Like, we have a low number of people enroll. Either they don't
Uh-huh.
like me or they didn't know about it. One of those two.
Uh-huh.
So day 3, I'm still going to do. I just want to make sure more people can come to it, because the more people that are live, the more people that benefit.
Of course.
But my rule is, if one person shows, I'm teaching.
That's awesome. And I really apologize for yesterday. It wasn't something that I was planning.
No apology necessary, because now you'll have it for keeps forever. Now, this was just added. This is the science of epigenetic alignment.
Okay.
So in here, it has research you can do on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
If I've already done it, but if you want to do it, you're more than welcome to check out these studies. And it tells you all the components of epigenetic alignment: nutrition, hormone balance.
Awesome.
And the good news is, with these steps I'm giving you, you're hitting almost all these things.
Oh, I love it.
And then these are the hormones that are involved. Sorry, my brother's calling me, and it's because it's my birthday.
Oh, happy birthday.
Oh, thank you. This is a good birthday treat. I get to teach something I love. So right here, you'll see hormone metabolism recovery, and it tells you the hormones that we are working on to turn
Mm-hmm.
your factory machinery back on. It's kind
Mm-hmm.
of sort of some nerdy stuff for you if you like to
Oh,
learn this
I
stuff.
will totally geek out on this.
Awesome. So that's all in there for you. All right, now let's get down to some new business. Failure, faith, and destiny. Our failures become memories, and our memories are essentially memorized emotions. Meaning, the emotion happened and the event happened, and then it triggers a whole cascading belief around things we can't do, things we'll never be able to do, things we're no good at. And it goes on and on and on. Hold a second. I feel bad because it's probably my nephew,
It's fine.
and I'm going to text him back. I'm teaching a class. I'm teaching a session, or would have answered. Boom. Okay. Back in action. So know that your failures have triggered emotions that absolutely feel like they're real, and they feel like they're going to keep you stuck, but they're not. They don't have to remain there. And whenever failure happens, it makes us avoid that situation again. Our subconscious says, never again, don't do that again. Don't let that happen again. And when that occurs, it makes it feel like we're trying to avoid it at any cost, which sometimes means we won't even try again. We won't even try to lose the weight again. We won't even try to stick to exercise. We failed so many times in the past. Our subconscious is protecting us from doing it again. So failure is a memory plus a story plus an emotion, and it's not true. It's in the past. But we have to know that every time we fail, every time we get rejected, it creates a program in our subconscious that unless we recognize it as a program, it will continue to take over when we least expect it. So recognize it for what it is, something to learn from, but not something to, it's not a control thing anymore. It's learning, not controlling. Faith is awareness of the reality of desires unseen. Faith does not have to be spiritual or religious. It's truly a cognitive, emotional, and it's a state of becoming aware of what you desire, even though you don't see it yet. This has a huge epigenetic impact. And faith doesn't question, faith just knows. Whenever I work with someone, the people who believe in their body's ability to burn fat, get healthy, feel better, and keep it off, they're the ones who do it the fastest and keep it off. The ones that are always second guessing it, wondering will it work or not, they tend to not. Now, faith is believing it to an extent that you're aware of it, you're aware that it's already happening. Even though no one around you will vouch for it and there's no physical evidence yet, you have that faith because that's where, oh man, I'm gonna have to do another page. That's where quantum phenomena happens. This is where it gets awesome. Now, you've probably heard me say this before. For me, God is good over defining it. I am not completely certain how it all works, but I'm pretty close. I have to quit investigating it and comparing it. But I do know that quantum mechanics is verified science. Like this is something that is undisputable, and there's no sense of even arguing about it. The only way someone would know is if they haven't learned about it yet, but the evidence is there. And here's why faith matters. Our cells are made of protons, electrons, and there's a little nucleus in there. Like our cells make up our body cells, our cells make up our tissue, and so next thing you know, we have our organs, we have our muscle. I'm really simplifying the human body now. We have fat, we have our brain, but everything comes down to a cellular level. There's cells that make up all these things. Would you agree?
Right. Yes.
Inside the cell, everyone knows about the proton, the electron, and the nucleus. But what they've discovered, and they've discovered this in mostly subatomic quantum science, they don't rotate around the nucleus. It's not a fixed sort of structure like the circular multi-layered shapes we would see in books when we were doing high school and college or what have you. They're not like that at all. They are blobs. They are all over the place. It's all over. And they don't even know what structure that subatomic um, those subatomic particles are going to take. And most of it's empty space. That empty space are quantas. That's where the quanta exists. That's where the spiritual energy exists. That's where the subatomic power exists. That's where the spiritual power exists. That is where your consciousness exists. That's where we shape reality as it's happening, while it's happening, with our thoughts and our belief and our faith. So the point I'm getting across is how you feel, what you believe, what you have faith in is making your subatomic, it's shifting subatomic substances in your body, which will eventually shift your cells. And where this gets interesting, according to quantum mechanics, right now, there are millions of potentials or possibilities for your body, your cells, and for all physical matter. The way we feel, think, desire, and what we have faith in determines what possibility becomes physical. And the best way to explain it is we have a 3D body, that's physical, and that's all the organs. And then on the 5D plane, that is the quantum, the universe, the spiritual. All of them are synonymous. Here's where we're missing the mark. We're focusing on all the physical things, dieting, exercise, what have you. Okay, great. But the 4D is where it all happens. This is our inner stance. This is our inner body. This is our consciousness. And this connects us, and some people will call it your soul. This connects us to the 5D, and it connects us to the 3D. And guess what this layer is between our 4D self and our 3D self? Guess what happens there? That's where epigenetics occurs. What's going on in our inner body affects our cells at a cellular level and affects our body overall. That's where DNA and genetic shifts happen, and we start creating change at the cellular subatomic level.
That's pretty awesome.
We're doing it all the time. Every single day, we're creating our reality. We're creating our next moment by what we're thinking, feeling, believing, having faith in, and our inner stance, which is our level of consciousness.
So now we just have to take it, harness it, and become intentional with it.
Intention, huge word. In fact, that is one of your warrior weapons. Being very clear on, hope this is not making you dizzy, but welcome to how my brain works.
You're fine.
So warrior weapons, know your purpose, emotions, desire, attention, which we're paying attention to, and awareness. And guess what? All of these are directly related to consciousness, to your inner body. Your desires were programmed in you from birth. Your purpose emotions also. Those are the emotions you resonate with most positively and you have the fondest memories of. Your desire have always been there. Like every human has an intrinsic desire to stay alive, which means to be healthy. But we all have different desires based on how the creator made us. Our quantum blueprint was printed out that make us very drawn to certain interests, that make us very good at certain skills, that make us, so some things when we learn them, we feel like, oh my gosh, I'm not even working. I am in my place. I am in
The zone.
I'm in my desire. Like it was not teaching people how to work out great. It was not creating meal plans. It was actually figuring out how all the systems work together and how the energies related, and the eating right and exercise is just a little bonus on top. Okay, so let's soul consciousness. Our soul consciousness is what we choose to consent to. The thoughts and beliefs we consent to becomes our soul consciousness. Our soul is not all the way where it should be yet. That's why we're on this earth. Our soul must evolve and get closer to our true self, but that means deciding what we're intentional about, deciding what our inner stance is, deciding who we are going to show up as today. And the more often we do that, the more our soul elevates consciousness. And here's what I mean. Okay. Guess what? Another sheet. Because this one is very, very interesting. This probably looks familiar to you. whether you're a devout Christian or an anti-Christian or Catholic or had tough Catholic upbringings and you swore off all things crossed from now on, it probably triggers a feeling for most people. I am not anti-religion, but I am not religious at all. However, I think every religion's right. They just can be right together instead of against each other.
I thought you were
But
going to write another little graph like you did in page 22.
did you see that one?
Page 22, as you were scrolling past, it has like different levels. So
That's
this is what
exactly what I'm doing. That's what this has always been. These are the states of consciousness, the states of being. This is how we ascend, by raising our state. Like down here, this is anger.
like
This
the
is,
frequency of vibrations.
they all connect. Yes, you're 100% right. The frequency of vibrations change as you go up the states. The
Yes.
energy, all of it's connected.
Yes, I've
And
seen the graph where it has the different colors. It starts at red and it goes on up to purple, and like
it's
love and
100% true.
charity, gratitude.
Your powerful ones start with acceptance, which is neutral. Gratitude is next. Then comes joy. And then comes authentic joy, where it's just happening automatically. Up here is enthusiasm, inspiration. But these aren't temporary moods. These are states of being. These are your levels of consciousness.
Yes.
And so when we elevate to these levels of consciousness, when our level of consciousness goes up on the scale, your state of consciousness elevates, your cells are becoming healthier. Every cell in your body is becoming healthier because they're all resonating and vibrating at the right frequency, and you are getting more aligned with your true intelligence, and all good things happen. But this is what we're on this planet to do, to elevate our level of consciousness. And here's the interesting part. When you're in the middle right here, because this is the past and this is the future. When we're regretting the past, reliving the past, thinking about the past, it takes us out of the state, the only state that we're powerful in, the only state we can change anything in. When we're looking forward to the future or stressing about the future, which never ever happens. Like we're literally creating the next moment right now. We are not creating a year from now. We have nothing to do with that. The only thing we're on is this moment and the very next moment. Our state of being determines our state of being in the next moment. So this is the past, this is the future, this is time, these are states. So if you're in the past or in the future, oh, that's it. Oh, look at that. I didn't do that on purpose. Obviously, I am not a pro at this yet.
I
But
don't know how to help you. I think if you push close, then it might help you, or down
you're
at the
right.
bottom.
You knew exactly how to help me. Thank you. So now being, and watch this, I'm going to get fancy with it. Now being, Eckhart calls it, the now. I like to call it now being, because when we become now beings and we redirect our attention to the present moment only, that's the only time we can change states or be aware of our state. The past throws us off. The future throws us off. The past is good for learning. The future is literally happening moment by moment. We have no business living in the future at all. We can plan things for the future, but we plan in the present moment. So directing all of our attention to right now is how we do it. And then when we get up into this state, then this becomes a sword, and we're able to penetrate old programs. We're able to slash old behavior beliefs. And we're also healing ourselves. This is no longer a woo-foo thing to feel better emotionally and spiritually and feel connected to the universe. This is literally going to heal ourselves. This is where the epigenetic realignment happens. But it doesn't happen when we're in the negative states. Doesn't.
Got it.
If you did everything right, resentfully, and just did every action right, military-like, and lost 30 pounds, if you did not change your inner stance, your inner state, you will gain the weight back.
Okay.
I've seen it happen again and again and again. Addicts that relapse, it's because their inner stance didn't change.
Mm.
They got over their physiological need for the drug or alcohol or what have you. They were over that, but their inner stance didn't change. Their cells, their beliefs, their energy still had the same level of consciousness.
Right. You have to become that person.
100% right. And so that brings you to the straightest line from being aware of where you are now to what you're becoming is a straight line. And that's alignment. But we often get caught in loops. We get caught thinking about stuff, wondering if we're doing it right, wondering if we need to collect information. Or sometimes we zigzag. We make some steps forward. Life happens, we zag back. We start making forward progress again. Life happens, we zag back. That's also called self-sabotage. All of us have been in all three states: the straight line, the loop, and the zigzagging. Now, why does this matter? Because this is a straight line. This is a straight line. It's alignment. Everything's connecting. You are 3 breaths away from being more aligned. Any time of the day, if you inhale your lungs, do a big belly breath, and just inhale through your nose, hold it for a couple counts, and exhale much slower than you inhaled. Do it 3 times in a row. You are aligning your energy coherence throughout your whole body, and you're moving your state up just a tiny bit.
That's cool.
Physiologically, we can do that. It's a physiological gift we have. We have a lot of automatic functions with the autonomic nervous system: blood flow, heart beating, digestion, muscle recovery. A lot of things are happening, and we don't even know, which is part of our program. Breathing is one of the only autonomic nervous functions we can take over whenever we want.
Okay, sounds good.
And the reason we have that ability is so we can align our energy. Like it's a universal gift to us, and we must use it. We don't have to. Most people don't. Most people just have not even take shallow breaths, not paying attention.
Yes.
And we actually can change our heart rate, our circulatory system, and our brain function just by the way we breathe. Like the Iceman, Wim Hof, and people that do lots of cold plunges and cold swims and cold things, just supernatural feats of human endurance, they hyperventilate first. They get their body in a very elevated state. That way their body can handle it, and they do it. Same is true when we're getting into a stressful state for no reason. We can slow it down with intentional breathing. There's that word again, intention. Any problem we have in our lives requires an elevation of our consciousness. If we've been stuck in our relationship for a long time, if we've been financially struggling for a long time, if we've been struggling with our weight or our health for a long time, in order to get past it, we have to elevate our state of consciousness. Einstein said it, we cannot change our problem, we cannot solve our problems with the same level of consciousness that created them. Our consciousness is where we are, where our soul is, where our spirit is, where our inner alignment is on that scale. And you said this one already. Here's the superpower. Assume the consciousness of already feeling and having your desire. If someone was able to train their body and mind to truly feel fit and lean, and they spent hours a day just breathing and feeling that way, their epigenetics would shift and they would lose weight. But the
You
moment
make
their
it,
actions, what's that?
I was just saying you make it sound so simple.
No, it's super hard. It's much easier to fast than it is to do this. Like to feel something that that has eluded you for years is going against every program that's automatic in your brain. It is super not simple.
Yeah, I'm saying just the way that you explain it, it sounds so easy. I understand it's going to take like undoing years of programming.
Or it's going to take hours of practicing
Sure.
because information is easy. Embodying is hard.
Yes.
But our brains, our genes, they're waiting. They are set up to be changed. We must practice. So practice feeling like you've already achieved what you desire. And be very vigilant, be very on guard to not let things in that you don't consent to. If you don't consent to that thought, that feeling, that emotion, that belief, do not let it stick around. Don't argue with it. R3 it. Oh, recognize it. That one's not working for me. I'm going to recognize it, release it, and replace it with I am choosing. And for me, it's to feel loved. I can go pet my dog real quick, or I just feel love, and I do. And I keep doing it. So my go-to state is becoming more and more love and less of fear and stress, less and
Mm,
less fear and worry. It's because I keep practicing.
right. So
I
that
catch my
becomes your automatic default.
yes, I'm rewiring my emotional body and my mentality and my brain chemistry. So love is becoming more natural. I don't have to think of a story or a reason to feel love. I just remember the feeling.
That's awesome.
We can memorize feelings if we practice them.
Hmm.
But you know the tough part? The tough part was giving myself permission to feel loved, even though no one was around me validating me or hugging me or loving on me or giving me a kiss or a pat on the back or telling me how good I was. I've always craved that validation or that approval. That way
Hmm.
I have permission to feel loved.
Right.
I had to let that go. And that's the art I call creating space. I truly made too many notes. Okay. So creating space, your other power. You notice the negative thought, you notice the negative feeling. You breathe in and you breathe out. And all you're doing when you breathe out is creating space for something else to exist. And on the third breathe out, I'm choosing to feel loved. And feel it. And it helps if you put your hand on your heart when you do this, but you create space and then you feel the feeling because you're choosing to. And especially if one of these feelings are your purpose emotions, your body will start defaulting back to them because those are the emotions that you've been hungering for, desiring, and you've been naturally pulled to for a long time. Our program's got in the way. The emotion matters. Practicing feeling the purpose emotion, a positive emotion, an emotion that's already wired into you, practicing that is what's going to give you authentic power. Words with emotion are powerful. Words despite emotion are powerful. But trying to take an action, but you consenting to resenting it, you consenting to fearing it, you consenting to wishing you didn't have to, not as powerful. So aligning with, I'm choosing to do this, I'm choosing to take this action, that's the way to go. So one of your assignments is keep an inventory of the unpleasant emotions that pop up through the day. Don't judge them. Don't feel like they're good or bad. Don't criticize them. Just What are they? And what's the thought that triggered it? When we become the awareness, which is also known as the observer, it's like, in order to observe our feelings and states, we have to rise above to a different level to observe it. So we momentarily rise up above our thoughts and our emotions, and we observe them and become the awareness of them without judgment, without criticism. So we see what's going on. We evaluate and analyze and become aware of what thoughts and emotions are going on. And then we realize what they are and decide which ones we're going to do something about.
Okay.
Never to feel guilty about them, never to judge them, but just to align them. When we carry out these actions, we are not going to do much on this inner DNA. That's the permanent part. What we're changing are these outside epigenetics. The longer and more frequently we stay in a higher state of consciousness, the healthier our genes get. Studies have shown that giving patients a placebo sugar pill and them believing that that sugar pill is going to alleviate, it's happened with cancer, they have done it with Parkinson's, they've done it with an array of different symptoms, PTSD especially, and depression. It literally has changed their gene structure and the occurrence of the symptoms, all because they believed, and that belief had an impact on their epigenetics and their physical body. Believing and feeling like you believe give you power to actually heal your own genes. This is the only hormone working against you.
I remember the first time I met you in the first master class thing you had, you talked about the cortisol drip.
Mm-hmm.
That would be my daily life.
Has it improved since learning about that?
Awareness, yes.
Awareness is your first step.
Agreed.
Awesome. So if you're aware that's happening, you might be like most people and start judging yourself. Oh, I'm doing it again. I can't believe I should know better. So it's becoming aware without judgment.
Yes.
That's step 2. So try to become, oh, there it's happening, and just be aware of it without judging it.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we can do that on a consistent basis, we'll go to step 3. Because knowing how harmful it is because this stops your state elevation in its tracks. It is directly related to all the emotions and states that don't help us. The only time cortisol is good is when you're doing a metabolic shift, when you're waking up in the morning, and when you absolutely need it for escaping a danger or elevating energy for a short period of time. It is meant to be a short-term burst hormone.
Right.
So the more aware we are when we're starting to release the cortisol, we're getting into a stress thing, becoming aware of it. And then step 2 is becoming, I'm going to write this down. Number 1 is awareness.
Mm-hmm.
And then awareness without judgment. And that, Catherine, is your next step.
So I'm already pretty good about not judging. What is the next step after that?
If you're aware of it and you're not judging, 1, you have to release the cortisol right then with 3 breaths, create space. And number 4, identify the thought that triggered the cortisol. And that would be along the thought inventory. You actually write down the thought that's triggering the cortisol response.
Okay, so my assignment is releasing with 3 breaths.
Create space with 3 breaths, and then write down the thought that triggered the cortisol release.
Okay.
And then I will teach you an I'm choosing statement to undo that thought, to
Okay.
rewire your brain. Because before every cortisol response is a thought. And these are some of them. I'll never find love. It's too hard. I can't lose weight. I'll never change. I'm not good enough. My life isn't very good. I don't deserve it. I'll never find the right job. Everyone has disempowering thoughts that they almost accept as just the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
Or consciously they know, no, that's not good. But subconsciously, the thought keeps running. So identifying what yours are is going to be hugely important. All right. Your body and mind work together, and they has two. I would say that there's definitely a continuum, some gray area, but essentially it can be in one of 2 categories: love and light or fear and stress. Just becoming aware, am I raising my consciousness with love and light, or am I depleting my consciousness with fear and stress? And not to judge it when you're doing it. Literally becoming aware of it without judgment is going to help minimize it. But you have to be like this loving parent, observing your child you love and care for that's not on your nerve, it's loving without judging it all, but just observing it and almost, there it is, look at that, doing it again. And breathe it out. Create space for something new. We can't force ourselves to feel gratitude, but we can memorize the feeling of gratitude when we do feel it. And when we feel it, practice feeling it. Gratitude lists don't do unless you actually feel the feeling when you're doing it.
Right.
If you're rushing to get your gratitude list done because someone tells you it's going to help you and you're just gotta do my gratitude list again, it's not helping you at all.
So I have a story for you on that. So I'm an RN, and I learned in nursing school the pain gate theory, which states that you can only have one feeling at a time. So like if you have chronic knee pain and you hit your finger with a hammer, you're going to feel the hammer on your finger pain more than the chronic pain. So I learned about this gratitude and the vibrations, and we had a move that was kind of horrific. I had a lot of really bad, like when I would go to bed at night, I would ruminate over it, over. And so I decided to marry the pain gate theory with gratitude. So I decided that I needed to have 10 things that I was grateful for, but start with the letter A. And it had to be things that I really was grateful for, not like ants and aardvarks just because they start with A. And so I kid you not, I did this for probably 7 months, and I never ever got to B because I was asleep before I got through my 10 things that started with A. It was the most amazing thing ever.
And you just described the power of feeling it. So when you're saying it, for that to have worked as well as it did, you felt that feeling as you said the word.
Yes.
That's the key. And whether it's gratitude, joy, enthusiasm, acceptance, peace, but if you actually feel it as you say, I'm choosing peace and feel peace, you're changing your consciousness. It's putting the
Yeah,
word. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, because I practiced it for so long, it was an automatic thing. As soon as I started ruminating while I was laying in bed, it's like I'd flip into that and then I was asleep. I didn't have to worry about that. And it was amazing.
You just described how we changed the click run program for
Mm.
stress. Same thing. The
So how do you
opposite of,
do it when you're awake?
well, you were doing it before you went to sleep.
Yes, but I was also in a quiet space. I didn't have like people yelling at me or telling me, like in my face about stuff. And so it was just me and my thoughts.
So when you don't have that luxury of just you and your thoughts and you're in a busy work environment around busy yelling people, the first step is create your own personal space with your breath.
Hmm.
And for that moment, just observe it and remember the thought you were thinking. So before, you would think about the move and that would cause stress and agony, you ruminate it, but then you would switch to gratitude. So after you capture the thought, got to capture it. That's why we're doing the thought inventory. Then we are going to make if, when, then. You're going to make this deal with your subconscious. If Judy at work cackles, or if and when Judy cackles at work, then I'm going to feel peace because I choose peace. And you literally start programming that, and you trigger it. So every time you hear her cackle, you go to that new program and you practice feeling peace for just that second. Create space and feel peace. When Judy cackles, I am choosing peace. And you keep practicing it, practicing it. You can do this with arguments with your spouse, your kids. You can do it with anything that continuously gets on your nerves. But you have to first identify what the trigger is that's actually clicking the click run program, and then associate a different decision, a different choice around it. Or when Judy cackles at work, I am choosing acceptance. And you practice feeling acceptance. So when Judy does it, you automatically restate the statement. It's just like the other program when you're doing the exercise. You you feel it, you sense it, and you're starting to feel that aggravated feeling. When blank and blank, if and when blank and blank, I am choosing acceptance. And you literally feel the acceptance. And then you say it again, I am choosing acceptance. Again, I am choosing acceptance. And then you can shortcut it whenever the stimulus happens. You right away say, I am choosing acceptance. But you must feel it, which means you must practice feeling it before that and have a game plan in place. And if and when, then game plan. And you can rewrite your brain. But with stress and cortisol, you literally have to identify one disempowering thought at a time. All right. Do you have any questions about your timed eating protocol, your eating schedule? I just realized it's time to walk Rocket before it gets dark, or he's going to disown me.
Thank you so much. I have a lot that I get to look through, go back over day one, figure out my daily schedule, all of that.
And the good news is, I'm still going to do a day 3, so you'll have time to go through day 1 and day 2. Don't procrastinate though. Just start consuming it and just put the things into action. And then by day
Mhm.
3, you'll have some new questions because I do still have some more content for you. Yes,
Okay,
I
cool.
do.
And I just want to tell you, when I came on the classroom and saw that you had given us different things, like different points to unlock, that was hugely motivating.
Good to know.
Yeah, so when you have, I don't know, I'm kind of competitive. And so it's like I see the leaderboard and that is helpful too. But when you go to the classroom and you see that, or community, that if you do this,
You
this
can
unlocks
unlock
at
these
this
things.
point.
Yeah.
Yes, that was huge.
Ah,
I was like, okay, well, game on, Tom. Let's make it happen.
let's go. Let's go. I love that. Thank you, Catherine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm super grateful for the school platform because it's how I've always wanted to be able to teach people instead of like the courses and all the other stuff, the Facebook groups. And now
Hmm.
it's just a matter of me continuing to put the content here and redo content. And that way, all these things are really super valuable. People can't wait to unlock them. And a lot
Hmm.
of it's just doing things around. And sometimes I just got to re-record it to make it a little bit more awesome.
Hmm.
But yeah, I'm gonna have things to unlock at every level. So thank you for sharing that with me.
Yeah, it seems kind of like you have a lot of fun with this. Is kind of like your work love child or something. You know, you're pouring like all of your knowledge into this, and I can feel that.
I don't feel like I'm working at all when I'm doing this, and yeah, it's my yeah, it feels time flies. Like I didn't realize it was 6:15.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Your support helps, and I will continue to synthesize this information, make it digestible, so there's action steps that we can take instead of just theory.
No, I love that I found this whole thing. I'm glad that I found your master class because this was really good for me.
Thank you. Definitely share in the group there because I don't think a lot of people know what the benefits they can get out of something like this.
Okay,
But definitely sharing the takeaways part. But I'll be following up with you and I'll be putting more content in and we're still going to do another day together.
sounds great. Have
I'm
a
going to
great
make
rest of your
sure it's a day that you can make it too, Catherine.
Sounds good.
All right. Enjoy the rest of your
Thank you
day.
so much. Enjoy the rest of your birthday.
Thank you. Bye bye.
All right, goodbye.